There is a moment in almost every woman's life when she knows something feels wrong, but she stays anyway. Not because she is weak, but because she is hopeful. Hopeful that his silence, music, means he's thinking. Hopeful that his distance means he's scared. Hopeful that his inconsistency means he cares more than he shows. So, she waits. She rationalizes. Music. She translates emotional pain into emotional depth, and the man never stops her, because the most dangerous man is not to the one who lies to you. It's the one who allows you to lie to yourself. He allows you to believe his confusion is complexity, his distance is independence, his emotional unavailability is strength, when in reality, it is simply disinterest mixed with convenience. And the reason this becomes so dangerous is because red flags rarely appear as rejection. They appear as almost love, music, almost commitment, almost enough. Today, you're going to understand the 7 red flags that most women misinterpret as love and why recognizing them early will protect you from emotional damage that can take years to undo. Let's begin. Red flag number 1, he is too perfect in the beginning. In the early stage, he feels unreal. He says everything right. He texts consistently. He makes you feel seen in ways no one ever has before. He tells you, I've never opened up to someone like this. You're different. You're special. And it feels sincere because he delivers it with confidence, with certainty, with emotional intensity. And your guard begins to drop. You begin to trust him. You begin to invest in him. But here is what most women don't realize. A man's words in the beginning are not a reflection of his long-term intentions. They are a reflection of his short-term emotions, and emotions are temporary. A man can feel strongly about you and still not choose you permanently because feelings are easy. Commitment is not. And the reason early perfection is dangerous is because it creates emotional dependency before emotional safety has been earned. He creates a version of himself you fall in love with before you have the chance to see who he really is. Because real character is not revealed in comfort. It is revealed in time, inconsistency, in pressure, in moments when he has nothing to gain. Anyone can be perfect in the beginning, music, because there is nothing at risk yet. Real love is proven after the beginning, not during it. Number 2, he makes you feel chosen, then slowly pulls back. At first, you feel like the center of his world. He prioritizes you. He gives you music attention. He makes effort. You don't question his interest because you can feel it. And then slowly something changes. Not suddenly, gradually, he replies slower. He becomes less emotionally present. He stops doing the small things he used to do naturally. And you feel it immediately. But you don't confront it. You adapt to it. You tell yourself he's busy. He's stressed. He's tired. You give him understanding. You give him patience, music. You give him space, but space slowly becomes distance, and distance slowly becomes emotional absence. This is where most women make the mistake. They believe the version of him from the beginning is the real him, and the current version is temporary. But the truth is the opposite. The beginning was the effort. This is the baseline. Because a man who truly values you does not decrease his effort once he secures your emotional investment. He increases his consistency because he understands something most men never say out loud. A woman who feels emotionally safe becomes irreplaceable. But a man who pulls back after gaining your trust is showing you something important. He was motivated by the chase, not by the commitment. He wanted to win you, not keep you. And there is a difference. Number 3, he makes you feel insecure, then blames you for it. Music. This one is subtle because it doesn't happen through obvious rejection. It happens through emotional imbalance. He becomes harder to read, harder to predict, harder to understand. One day he's warm, the next day he's distant. One day he makes you feel important, the next day he makes you feel optional. Music. And your emotional state begins to depend on his behavior. You start overthinking, you start analyzing, you start questioning yourself. Not him, yourself. You wonder if you said something wrong, if you did something wrong, if you expected too much. And when you finally express music how you feel, he says something like, you're overthinking, you're too emotional, you're creating problems. And in that moment, something shifts inside you. You stop trusting your emotions. You start suppressing your needs. You start becoming easier to keep and harder to respect. Because when a woman abandons her emotional truth to maintain a man's presence, she teaches him she will tolerate emotional neglect. And men do not respect what they do not fear losing. A man who truly values you does not punish you for having emotions. He protects the emotional safety of the connection because your peace becomes important to him, not inconvenient. But a man who makes you feel insecure and then blames you for reacting is not protecting your heart. He is controlling your perception, so he never has to take responsibility. And this is where emotional attachment becomes emotional dependence. Not because he made you weak, but because he made you question your strength. Number 4, he makes you earn his consistency. In the beginning, his effort feels natural. You don't have to ask for attention. You don't have to ask for reassurance. He gives it freely, but over time, something changes. His consistency becomes conditional. He becomes attentive only when he feels you pulling away. He becomes affectionate only when he senses distance. He gives you just enough to keep you emotionally invested, but never enough to make you emotionally secure. And without realizing it, you begin performing for his attention. You become more agreeable, more understanding, less expressive about your needs. You start minimizing yourself just to maximize his presence. This is where the illusion begins. Because when his attention feels like a reward, you mistake emotional survival for emotional connection. But love is not something you should have to earn repeatedly. Love is something that music is given and protected. A man who truly values you does not make you compete for his consistency because he understands your presence is not guaranteed and he treats it that way. Number 5, he avoids defining the relationship. This is one of the clearest signs, but also the most ignored. When a man sees a future with you, he brings clarity, not confusion. He does not hesitate to define what you are, because uncertainty benefits only the person with less emotional investment. So he says things like, I don't like labels. Let's just see where things go. I don't want to rush anything. And you accept it because you don't want to lose him. You convince yourself that patience will turn into commitment, that time will turn into certainty. But time does not create commitment. Decision does. And a man who truly wants you does not fear defining the relationship. He fears losing you to someone who will, because men protect what they value, and they clarify what they intend to keep. Ambiguity is not confusion. Ambiguity is protection. Protection of his freedom. Protection of music, his options. Protection from responsibility while still having access to you. Number 6, he makes promises, but his actions never change. This is where hope becomes the strongest trap because he knows when you're reaching your limit. He knows when you're tired. He knows when you're close to walking away. And that's when he becomes the man you needed all along. He listens, he apologizes, he promises, he tells you things will be different. And in that moment, you see the future you always imagined with him. So you stay not because of who he has been, but because of who he promised to become. But listen carefully. A man's potential is not his reality. And love that exists only in promises is love that does not exist. Because real change does not need repeated conversations. It needs repeated action. A man who values you does not wait until he is losing you to treat you properly. He treats you properly because he knows losing you is possible. But a man who changes only when you're leaving is not changing for you. He is changing for access. And access is not love. Number 7, your intuition keeps warning you, but you ignore it. This is the final red flag and the most powerful one because before your mind understands, your body already knows. You feel it in the silence. You feel it in the inconsistency. You feel it in the way music looks at you when he thinks you're not paying attention. Something feels incomplete. Something feels unstable. Something feels off. But you don't listen because you want the story to end differently. You want the effort you invested to mean something. You want the version of him you fell for to be real. But your intuition does not speak through logic. It speaks through discomfort, through anxiety, through emotional tension. Love does not create chronic emotional confusion. Love creates emotional peace. And when a woman ignores her intuition, she slowly disconnects from her power. Because your intuition exists for one reason: to protect you from what your emotions want to keep. Now, here is the truth that changes everything. The right man will never require you to decode his feelings. You will not need to analyze his words. You will not need to question his intentions. You will not need to convince yourself he cares, because you will feel it. Not through intensity, but through consistency, through emotional safety, through clarity. A man who truly loves you does not risk losing you. He secures you not with promises, but with presence, not with words, but with certainty. And the moment you stop accepting behavior that confuses you, you become the woman only the right man can keep, because the wrong man survives on your tolerance, but the right man rises to your standards. This was Femme Forward, and I'll see you in the next video.